We're good to go. Good afternoon. This is a regular meeting. It's a special meeting of Town Council. No, it's not? Oh, we're doing the GID first. Wow. Right in front of me. I guess I need to go back to kindergarten and learn how to read. GID, it is December the 11th, so we're meeting as the governing body for GID District Number 1. Roll call.
Butler?
Here.
Circus? Mattson?
Here.
Shank?
Here.
Good.
Here.
Okay, even though the agenda does not have public comment, I'll see if there's anyone in the audience who would like to provide a public comment. I see Pat's back in town. So did you have, I know I received something when I was working today, but I did not even have in front of me. Okay, I can read it. Come on up, Pat.
Thank you. It's nice to see you all again.
Did you bring snow?
Well, I tried to import it from Houston, but you know, it melted in my carry-on. And before I get started, I do want to give a shameless plug for Base Village. Pat Kiefer, Base Village. Shameless plug for Base Village. The new art on the walls.
Oh, it's so cool.
Bring your cameras.
Did you put your face in there?
I have not yet because Ken's at home and I didn't have anybody to take a picture. But people are queuing up to have their picture taken in front of it.
It's really cool. Have you guys
Where in Base Village is it?
It's on the construction
On
wall
the
in
wall.
front of Capitol Peak.
Oh, okay.
Outside the Transit Center and on the way. Remember, East West said that they were going to do by decades kind of stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
So, back to business. As the newly elected Capitol Peak HOA president,
Congratulations.
thank you.
How many people ran against you?
2.
Oh, my God. Oh, well,
It's a
welcome,
popular place.
welcome to a wonderful job description, right?
Well, I hope so. It's now my job to advocate on behalf of Capitol Peak owners. 2/3 of the fixed cost of Capitol Peak condo ownership comes from special Base Village fees and taxes. Half of that are the taxes from GID and Base Village Metro. According to the document retrieved by Capitol Peak owner Andrew Nolan, which you got a copy of in your email, page 4 shows the design of the tax to the max nature of the 49.5 mills of taxes. It states that the combined total mill levy should be kept below 50 in order to preserve the town's A bond rating. Today, you'll vote whether to assess just 200 Base Village owners to provide the roughly $220,000 for the Skittles and snowmelt operations that benefit the entire community, and most especially those who depend upon Snowmass visitors for their livings, and yet the overwhelming majority of the benefiting parties do not financially contribute to the amenities that support their financial gains. We think this is wrong. To add insult to injury, there is no taxpayer on the advisory board or on the GID board. No offense to present company, but you're not paying the taxes. In fact, GID is run so much like another part of the town or tourism that staff recommend the disbanding of the advisory board. If it was taken over by the town, the impact is a fraction of 1% of the town's expense budget. You've heard these same sentiments before, for years now, from Hayden HOA President Stuart Nathan, past Capitol Peak President Bruce Smith, Gerald Bodsey. As a matter of fact, I bet you all could probably tell me what I'm going to say. But we would ask you to do the right thing today, to refrain from perpetuating the taxation and vote no on sending Pitkin County the notice to tax-based village owners. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. We'll enter that into the record. Moving on, is there anyone else? Obviously not. In the audience? Mary Ann and Clint.
This resolution sets the mill levy for
The GID at 6.002. The property taxes will decrease for residential property assessed at $1 million by 9.52%, or around $45 for every $1 million of market value, and that's mainly due to the change in the assessment rate at that the state had just set. So it went down from 7.96% to 7.2%, and that's the same in the GID and in the town's assessed valuation. So this sets the mill at 6.002, and the resolution has the amount of the mills and the amount of the property taxes that it would receive, which is around $233,000.
The only thing I would add is the GID board adopted the budget a month ago, thereabouts, and this basically is the step to ensure that the revenue source for the budget, as approved, is derived.
You know, that resolution is not on iLegislator on,
It's in your email.
It's in the email.
It's on your email from
Rhonda.
Rhonda.
okay, now I need to go all the way back. I know I read it last night.
Rhonda, is it possible to put these in iLegislate?
No.
The GID?
Yeah.
That's up to Clinton, John.
Yes.
It's not a commission board, so I don't have commission boards in there.
If it makes it easier, I mean, we try and separate the GID from the town council, so as long as you all could separate.
It is on the website.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Most of us just go to, or,
It's on a PDF.
I did the same thing.
Just go
oh, I
scroll
see it
down.
right here. Here it comes. I know I read it last night. Okay. It's coming up now. Okay, this is resolution number 3, series of 2017, establishing the property tax mill levy for Snowmass Village General Improvement District number 1 of the town of Snowmass Village. Do I have a motion for approval of resolution number 3?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 03, series 2017.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in support, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now the approval of the GID minutes of November 13th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 13th.
Okay,
Second.
thank you very much, Bill. All in support?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on. Now we'll go into, motion for adjournment.
A motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Alyssa.
A second?
Thank you, Tom. All support, say
Aye.
aye. Aye, opposed, same side. Moving now into town council special meeting, and this will be, this is Monday, December 11th, and it's now 4:14. Rhonda, roll call.
Butler,
Here.
Mattson,
Here.
Shank,
Here.
and Good.
Here.
Okay, do I have any public comment on the regular meeting? Okay, Pat, come on up.
Sorry, I don't know if you heard her.
Thank you for your patience. For the record, Pat Kiefer, Base Village. I'm here as the Capitol Peak HOA President and Liaison to Hayden Lodge. Last week, Capitol Peak owner Andrew Nolan and I addressed the Planning Commission in an effort to have the developer honor its December 21st, 2015 promise made to each of you to offer our owners access to the Building 8 rooftop pool. We learned that per section 16A-5-310, when a PUD is developed in phases, each phase is to contain the required streets, utilities, landscaping, and other public facilities or improvements that are necessary and desirable for the residents of the project. The desirable Aqua Center, now compromised down to a pool, has not been built. Capitol Peak Hayden owners desire a pool in Phase 2. So far, we've been promised the Aqua Center in 2008, and when you receive this via email, you'll see the original brochure. We've been promised access to Building 8's rooftop pool. See the transcript that will be attached in the PDF. And there's a mirage of a pool promised in 10AB. The mirage is so far in the future that when East West put its beautiful new 3D Base Village model in its sales center, the pool isn't even there. The buildings are there, the enclave sidewalk is there, but there's no pool. In talking with Chris Klug today, he stated that with his young family, a pool is the most important amenity when they vacation. Jim, Gus Gustafson, stated in the Planning Commission that we know about resorts here and a pool is a necessity. So when Phase 2 is complete, Hayden and Capitol Peak owners will be the only properties in Base Village without a pool, or either at our buildings or in the building next to us. It's a very family-oriented amenity, one that we missed this summer when our grandniece and nephew were with us. It's absolutely critical to the financial competitiveness of our properties. So we've approached the developer to put a pool west of Hayden, and they said no. We tried just outside the conference center between 2A and 2B, and they said no. They said they won't honor the December 2015 rooftop pool access verbal commitment. So as a business person accustomed to analyzing motivation, perhaps the owners of Lumen, Limelight, and 1 Snowmass, aka 4AB, 5AB, 7, and 8, would like to have the exclusive competitive advantage that having a pool brings by not delivering pool access to Capitol Peak and Hayden in Phase 2. We also learned last week that the developer is asking for a deadline extension for 7-8 construction. The impact on Capitol Peak is just devastating. We will endure not just another 2 years of construction within feet of our buildings and having the pedestrian walkway in front of our buildings used as a major construction highway, but the agony will be doubled if their request is honored to almost 4 years. And at the end of all the construction pain, we will still not have a pool. The developers stated the 2018 deadline for delivery of all of those buildings was always impossible to meet. We disagree when we look at the timeline. In fall of 2015, East West Craig Ferraro successfully lobbied this town council to complete the faux front of 7 and 8 before adding the second Viceroy building. He was also successful in raising the height of 7 and 8 so that they could accommodate their 9.5-foot ceilings. In summer of 2016, Metro tax districts began refinancing efforts to, quote, facilitate the sale of Base Village. So while EAK closed in December of 2016, they had extensive knowledge and ample opportunity to redesign 7 and 8 to their desires. In addition, it's a different construction company that will build 7 and 8 that is currently working on 4AB and 5AB. And there's extensive demolition before the reconstruction can begin. So why hasn't that part started? We question how the developer had enough time to do a $4 million redesign of public spaces at Viceroy, but not enough time to start on buildings 7 and 8. Again, as a business person accustomed to analyzing motivation, perhaps the owners of Lumen and Limelight would like to have the new condo market all to themselves for a couple more years. The market can only absorb so many condos at a time, and there's still 50 or so in the Viceroy condos from 2008 to be sold. So in the meantime, the folks paying to keep the lights on at Base Village, so everyone has good access to the ski mountain, and so the developer can deliver on its promises to the town, are the Phase 1 owners. We ask that Capitol Peak and Hayden needs for a permanent pool access with a redesigned rooftop pool on Building 8 becomes the highest priority for Phase 2 for any changes or accommodations. We ask the town to hold the developer to their promises and to the town's own PUD phasing standards, where each phase shall contain the desirable improvements for the residents. For Capitol Peak and Hayden, that would be permanent pool access on top of Building 8. We think it's the right thing to do. And I want to emphasize it's not that they aren't working hard. It's that they purchase knowing the commitments that were made to the town, and we expect them to deliver. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Moving on to a consent agenda. Let's go back there. Oh, I gotta get out of this. Draft agendas, any comments? I want to look at, so next week we see the proposed sculpture names. This is continuation of Enclave Town Council compensation discussion.
Do you know when Snowmass Center is coming?
February.
I was just wondering.
Okay. Anything else? I did ask Clint and John a question last night regarding the issue of excused absences for council members, just as an FYI. And what I learned, which I did not understand, I did not know, the minute that we approve these consent agendas or draft agendas, that means people are excused.
As long as we have the name, we always put the name in red, if people aren't gonna be there, and we consider it excused at that point.
Did we discuss that?
You know, I don't know. I mean, we've been doing it for a year and a half.
Well, I know, but it's like,
I remember we did a reorganization, tried to get these things clearer. We
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
reorganized the
I did
agendas
that.
at the bottom, and I don't remember if we discussed that or not.
So when something comes up, like the names are in red where they are, like for instance, I have a couple of dates, I don't know what they are yet, but every week or every other week,
Yeah.
we discuss or approve the consent agenda. That doesn't mean if you don't get on there now, you're not gonna be on there.
Correct.
no.
What the code section says, and Mark and John can correct me, but if you're not, if a council member misses 2 consecutive meetings that are basically unexcused,
Regular meetings.
Regular meetings,
Work sessions don't count.
right.
then there could be steps taken to remove you from the board. But by approving this on consent, everybody's aware of it. And really what this does effectively for staff is we know that we can have a quorum. And that's really what we use it for, is to make sure there's quorums and those types of things lined up.
Yeah, because in the past, what we had to, in the past, prior town councils, if you were gonna miss 2, you had to have, it came into council and you had to ask for it, and then everybody had to approve. And what this does is give tacit approval. Okay, well, I did not know.
So does Bill have a doctor's note for 2018?
It's got council's permission if you guys approve it. That's what
He's
it
gonna
is.
bring snow.
Well, I hope. I'm going to places that have some snow.
He's gonna
hopefully.
go find snow.
So I apologize that I'll be missing a couple meetings, but it's coming into my busy season and it's time
And
for
they
me
all
to-
have snow?
Well, Michigan and Minnesota do, or at least,
Michigan sure does.
at least it's cold enough for them to make it.
Oh, they got snow. I got pictures from my friends in
Yeah,
Ann Arbor. Gosh.
They don't have a skier in Buffalo, do they?
yeah.
Oh,
Gosh.
They've got a few out there.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Holiday Valley, that's the Aspen of the East.
Guess I missed that one.
maybe we should all go there for Christmas.
Missed that one?
So do we need a motion to?
Hit Bristol or Swain or Kissing Bridge, there's a whole bunch of them out there, they get a lot
Kissing
of lake
Bridge?
effect. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Any others you wanna know about, you just let me know.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda the way it
Okay,
is.
do I have a second?
Second, thank
All
you.
in support?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and you do have some dates, but you don't know when.
Yeah, I don't know when, I won't find out for another couple weeks.
Okey dokey. Now let's move on into resolution number 43.
By the way, there might not even be a conflict, so I don't even know, so.
This is a resolution levying general property taxes for the year of 2018 to help defray the cost of government for the town of Snowmass Village and to pay general obligation bond, principal, interest, and related costs, and for the town's road improvements program and the Aspen School District for the 2018 budget. Okay, Mary Ann.
This resolution will set the mill levy for 2018 property tax collections at 8.809, which is a reduction of .207 mills, or 2.3% decrease. And the amount of property taxes that we'll be receiving is $4,237,000, of which 510 is the Aspen School District property taxes. Total property taxes will be decreased by $179,000. Most of that decrease is due to a decrease in the debt service fund for the refinancing of the rec center bonds, and also it's the 2018 is the last payment on the pool bonds. So that will go away after 2018.
So, to John Q. Public, what does
Right.
this mean?
Yeah.
It's $83.
So for every $1 million of market value for a residential property, your bill's going to go down by 11.62% for just the town's portion of the property taxes. So it's a decrease of $83 per every $1 million of market value. For commercial, it's a decrease of $60 per $1 million of commercial.
But even with all that other stuff we added, like the fire department and the,
No,
So
just
that
the
is
town.
just for the town.
Is it just
So the
town?
fire district and the
So
pool,
don't take it to the bank.
so it's
Yeah,
not
there's-
really like you're getting, I mean, you're
No,
you're
which
picking
you
up other
control.
expenses.
You are doing your fair share to decrease property taxes from the town of Snowmass Village.
No, but I'm saying in general, not just with Snowmass Village. If you're looking at the big picture, it's
well,
not like you're really getting it.
in 2017, the water and sand district, that mill went from 2.4 mills in 16 to 6.08 mills in 2017. So that hopefully is the bulk of their mill levy increase. And then the Snowmass Wildcat Fire District, theirs went from 7.4 to 9.04, which was a 20% increase. So I'm not sure how much of debt service that includes. So,
Like I said, don't take it to the bank.
yes.
I'm not taking it.
You're gonna have to pull a buddy to pay all your taxes.
Great.
Okay, here we go. Do I have a motion to approve? Resolution number 43.
Motion to approve Resolution
Thank you,
43.
Bill.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in support, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, resolution number 45, series of 2017, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Snowmass Village certifying delinquent solid waste fees to the Picken County Treasurer for placement upon the tax list for the current year to be collected in the manner other taxes are collected pursuant to Snowmass Village Municipal Code, Section 741B, and in compliance with the laws of the state of Colorado for the assessment and collection of general taxes. Okay, Mary Ann.
I think this has got John's name on it.
Let's try, Mary Ann.
It does say from John Dresser.
Oh, that must be a typo. Every year I think you all know how our solid waste division works. Everyone in the town gets billed, and we have centralized and curb service. And every year there's a number of people that don't pay their tax bills. And I think, was it last year, Bill requested that these be sent out quarterly? So they were sent out
Yeah.
quarterly, and we have a list of people that have failed to pay any of it. I will let you know that between the Public Works staff, the solid waste people, and Mary Ann's people, they have chased these people for from about September to November. In November, they get a last notice, and then they get put on this list. And what happens is, if you approve this resolution, these amounts get certified against those properties on this property tax. It's called a special municipal service fee or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But the municipal code for Snowmass Village allows us to do this. There's an administrative fee to cover those expenses that they've spent time chasing a lot of people down. And these are the people that are left. So staff recommends that you do this. This is probably the most efficient way of collection that I'm aware of. And that's it.
So before we go for a motion, could you modify what my title is?
Did that get, oh, yes, we will.
That happened over 4 years ago. I know what y'all do. You just go in and change the date.
Just to see if you catch it.
Actually, you weren't here last year for this, and I changed the name from Bob Circus to you, but forgot to correct your title, and I apologize for that.
To me, it's just a nit.
No,
Yeah, whatever.
But, by the way, some of these names were, I know, I recognized one that was on the list from last year.
4 of them.
4, okay, so I don't have that, the other 3, but, so what is our options? They get on the bad guy list, the naughty list. Does that mean Santa Claus isn't gonna bring them anything, or what's going on?
we collect the
collect.
10%.
They collect it from
We
their
collect
property
it,
taxes.
They pay it in their property taxes.
Oh.
Pitkin County sends us a check.
Okay,
Plus 10%. So it's not really an efficient way to pay your garbage bill, but some people insist on it.
okay.
At least we have a mechanism to get those fees.
Very much so.
And I appreciate them being broken out quarterly. I think that's really helpful.
You know, and on anybody that wants to set up a payment plan, if that's too difficult, all they have to do is call our office and we will work with them.
That's
Okay,
pretty great.
Great.
Yeah.
That's cool. So there really is not an excuse.
So just broke. I
Well,
guess.
then I will make a motion to approve resolution number 45, series 2017, and move forward.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in support, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, and moving forward. Thank you very much. That passed. Town council reports and actions. We'll start with Alyssa.
Oh, great. So I missed the Northwest COG meeting, and Bob missed it too, but I'll catch up on that stuff. But I did go to the Covenant Enforcement Commission for the Roaring Fork Transportation Authority.
Thank you for doing your job.
I went. There was only a few of us there. And in case those of you listening or in the room that you don't know what this is basically enforcement of any encroachments on the corridor, the railroad corridor. And so they go through all the different sections of the corridor. And actually what was really cool this time is, I can't remember his name, Tom, I think. He's the guy that does the Newland, Tom Newland.
Oh, Tom Lynn, yeah, he's
So
great.
he took a drone, and he went along the corridor, and so we got to see it from above, which is really cool, and it also helps them because some of the encroachments are in people's yards. Like, people don't necessarily know they're encroaching sometimes on the corridor. So it was really interesting, and it was cool to see the drone. He still has to do the upper part, but he did the lower part of the corridor. So that was very cool. And then Brett Meredith, who is the manager of the trails, he was also there. And so it was really interesting. I mean, there's no like real problems, but there's always, encroachments that people either are aware of or not aware of. But I thought in the spring, it would be nice to have Brett and Angela come to one of our meetings, because they talk a lot about just the corridor and the maintenance of it. And, they've had, issues with etiquette on the trails, and we have a lot of people here that ride down there, and the e-bike thing and how that works out. So I thought it might be interesting in the spring just to have them come and talk about it and prepare, give people a little preparation for what they might be seeing, and how to use the trail in the future. So
As you go into the trail on the drone, did it show the signs that were put there in terms of e-bikes and speed limits or any of that stuff?
I didn't see the signs.
Okay.
They just he kind of just went through, he has it, I think you can watch it. I mean, I feel like it was like on like a YouTube thing or something, but I could find out. But it was really cool because you can, and he did it when, the trees in the fall, so there was no leaves on the trees anymore, and it was easy to kind of see the lines. But no, they didn't show any signs.
How about the condition of the pavement? Did they talk about?
No, they did not talk about
There
either.
is some places that are,
There are a few areas where there's homeless people that live under these bridges and graffiti and things like that. So they talked about,
That's over by
Carbondale
Satake.
Police Department is gonna
Satake,
be policing that area, just because like if you have families and then you have these homeless people and they set up these tents under there and it's kind of a thing. But they, and then they talk about some of the graffiti that gets put on there. And then they also talked about, they had brought in a bunch of, animals, cattle, what is it, not cattle.
Goats.
Goats to eat.
Right, the
And that
cactus.
helped a lot, and so they're gonna be doing that again. And it doesn't seem to interfere with anyone using the trails.
No,
So
it doesn't.
anyways, it's always really interesting. But I just thought it'd be nice to have them come and just talk about the trails and, e-bikes and user-friendly ways for us all to coexist on the trail together. So you could put that for something in the spring. And I think that's it. I'd like to thank you again for putting the menorah in the window of the Discovery Center,
Oh,
as tomorrow is the first night of Hanukkah.
Yes, happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
happy, happy, happy.
Thank you. So, thanks, Clint.
You're welcome. On behalf of everybody that did the work, you're welcome.
No big updates from the Nordic Council. Obviously, we need a little snow. We do have a snow-making plan in place. They're gonna do an experiment over at AVSC this year. Once they're
Oh,
done
okay.
making snow up on Highlands, they're gonna make some snow there. And have a big pile so that they can build some features for some of the promotional events that they have later in the year. There are cross-country areas in the world that have complete man-made snow. It's quite an endeavor. You have to basically make snow into these little trucks and they cart it around and make it. But if you follow any of our American cross-country skiers, they're doing great. Particularly the women's team is doing really well. Simi Hamilton, a local kid, got 4th last weekend, so
That's cool.
he represents the Nordic Council. So that's been if you don't follow Nordic skiing, it's a good time to do it, particularly in this Olympic year, and we got some locals involved. Also, just like to give a shout out to the Planning Commission. They had a huge packet this week, and pretty major endeavor. So appreciate those guys' efforts.
They're working hard.
Yep.
Speaking of that, when's the comp plan coming to us?
We should get a draft ASAP, and, I mean, I would hope that we get a public draft out in the next couple of weeks. So,
Okay.
we'll roll it out to the whole community again and get comments, and then I'll go back to the Planning Commission for adoption and recommendation, and then to you all.
So that'll be in 2018.
You'll have final action in 2018, but we'll have public process going before that.
Okay. During the holidays when P-Trap.
We're aiming to get it when folks are around, right? It's that kind of that balance when people are busy, but people are here. We're trying to find that spot.
Well, they may want something to do.
Correct. Who wouldn't want to read a comp plan?
Anything else?
Holidays.
Okay, I had a Public Health Board meeting last week. A few things. We did approve the first reading of the gray water ordinance, which is about 36 pages. We may want to have a presentation on gray water and the management thereof. It's very interesting. And I can forward that packet to you, but it's on the Pickens County website, Pickens County Public Health. The other is we're reorganizing the Public Health Department as a result of the Public Health Department being taken over within Pickens County and changing the services of community health services. So a lot going on in terms of the reorganization and restructuring of the public health, because public health never was a part of Pickens County government. It is now. So those were the two big issues there. Long meeting, very long, but it was good. And other than that, RAFTA doesn't meet in December. However, there was an email, and I don't know if you all got copied on it. It was about the ITSP. There's a special meeting to see some presentations, workshop to discuss ITSP polling, And it looks like it's gonna be like January the 4th. January 4th, 2018 at the RAFTA office. And you should have got copied. Alyssa, you should have got.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. I don't know if any of you can attend. I plan on attending. Okay? So that's moving forward in terms of trying to figure out whether or not a ballot initiative in 2018 is plausible and what that ballot language might be. Okay, that's all I have.
Core Board met last December 7th, Thursday. By the way, I also want to agree with Bill. I wanted to say that first, just the word of gratitude to the Planning Commission, and I know they went long and hard a week ago.
Yep.
And I really appreciate their efforts. So anyway, Core Board meeting was last Thursday. Basically, it was a budget meeting. Most of it was a budget meeting and also talking about regrouping and reorganizing some of the reviews for the UDOL grants and Citizen Review Committee. And I think Sarah and Mona met with Travis a couple weeks ago, I guess, in Clint, and they're looking forward to either coming up and doing a presentation, I believe, aren't they? Or on the high five stuff, maybe, or what?
Well, I know what we're really working with them on is the council's identified the, the goal of
Right.
sustainability, and we're really trying to identify some, what I refer to as the big picture projects, instead of the kind of the smaller stuff
Right.
that you get to feel good. What is something out there that we can tackle as a community that would actually make a significant impact and help us meet our 2020 goals that the council's adopted? And so that's really what we put a lot of effort into, and if we wanted to have the high five and those kind of discussions, for sure, we can set that up.
Yeah, I'd like to see the high five.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Really it's kind of a fun thing, where they have confessional booths and you come up and make your confession how you're going to try to do better with energy and saving energy. So I can't wait for my wife to get in that booth and,
Look,
Guess you keep
look
your
at
house too warm.
John.
I thought when you did bad, then you went and confessed. So, like, if you're wasting a bunch of energy, you gotta
no,
come
it's
clean
kind of a fun thing,
before you
where,
get absolution, right?
you get three Hail Marys and four Alfathers,
Okay.
At any rate, most of our meeting was on, restructuring the Citizen Review Committee and looking forward. They were very pleased with their meetings with Travis and Clinton.
That's great.
And looking forward to moving forward. That's it.
Anything else?
And I guess the good news for us is, as Clint mentioned in the memo last week, that Holy Cross is making quite an effort to get more energy through sustainable resources. So I think that, Holy Cross is a good opportunity for the town to look better as a whole as to where we're getting our energy.
Holy Cross is really doing a great thing. They've shut down
They
the
are.
plant down in Pueblo, the coal plant.
Yeah.
And, so
Yeah, and they're planning on, they're working on developing a really large solar array here in Pitkin County. And what we're trying to find out is how best can we tap into that and utilize that and help ensure that when they buy it, that it's getting utilized, the renewables. And a lot of different ideas that are kicking around to see how best we can participate.
And I understand the Alpine Slide opened yesterday, and the people I've talked with are pretty amazed with it.
Did you
I
go
have
up?
not been up there
I'm
yet
going
to see it. But,
on Thursday. You might be able to hear me screaming from the town hall office. But my fellow ambassadors have all said it's really fun.
We'll just put a muzzle on you.
It's really fun. And they said the first 30 seconds is like really, you're screaming a lot.
Well, you do that on any roller coaster.
I don't like roller coasters, but I'm going to ride it because I feel like I should be able to tell guests what the experience is like.
I think it's marvelous.
So from 1 to 3, if you hear screaming from the mountain, it's me.
Put a mic on her.
Riding a coaster.
Put it on the tourism website.
Put a GoPro on her.
Yeah.
I do actually. I have a GoPro. I want.
Yeah,
maybe
Matt
I should do
Donnelly
that.
posted.
Point it at yourself.
Oh, that's too funny. Anything else?
That's it.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. Any
Look at this.
discussion on adjourning? If not,
Look at this beauty. This was-
all in support?
I found that in my
Aye.
car.
Pose same sign. Thank you. We're done.